How do folks, David here, and it's another one of those vlog videos. Not a huge amount has been happening, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not necessarily expecting this video to get a huge amount of views because it is obviously the summer over in the Northern Hemisphere and we've got World Cup going on. So chances are people watching YouTube is down the pan. Probably the same for an awful lot of creators. However, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be putting content out. So what has been happening? Well, I guess the past month in terms of both work, personal life, etc., has not been brilliant. I won't go into the personal stuff, not myself, other members of the family, but work has been very, very busy. And as I have already said, there's been some big work trips away. Thankfully, I believe the last one of those for at least a month and a half has been completed. That was just last week gone, and that was to Queenstown. Now, Queenstown is one of, I guess, the tourist traps of New Zealand. Gorgeous scenery. Very close to things like jet boat rides and skiing and all that kind of jazz. It was a hard trip. I didn't get to see any shops or anything like that, so there's no game related stuff from there. And what made it worse was the hotel was an absolute pit that I was in, and there was, well, the only thing that I could actually do was sit and watch videos on YouTube or anything like that off the laptop. Yeah, there was a TV in the room, and the only thing that you could pick up was TV1, TV2, TV3, and Parliament TV. That was it. You know, no Sky, no other services or anything on demand. If you wanted that kind of thing, you had to log in using your own account, and of course I'm not going to be doing that on, you know, a public place. If tourists want to do that, that's entirely up to them. I had, of course, planned on taking this with me, and guess what was the one thing that I forgot? So I have not yet started it, but now, because there's no more work trips, I will get into this, and this may give some ideas. I've already got a couple of things to do with Flyers and Imperial Navy, so let's see what this has got. Because in game terms, I am certainly well out of touch with 40k Flyers and that sort of thing. Let's see what this has got. Now, the other thing that happened while I was away, and I am so excited, you would not believe. In fact, I am beside myself. This is something that I have wanted since I was pre-teen. Yes, at an early age, I got into model making, mainly through my uncle. And, you know, when it came to birthdays or Christmases, model kits were there. Pocket money was spent on model kits. It's a thing of sort of like the 70s. We didn't have home computers, and we certainly didn't have the internet. And that kind of hobby was pretty prevalent. Now, one of the things that started happening was that apart from just the normal Airfix kits, we started getting kits coming in from Japan, and they had the sort of like Macross line stuff that kind of became more Battletech until there was some kind of trademark issue and an awful lot of that had to get changed. So yes, I did have my fair share of robots. Wish I still had them, because they would look absolutely brilliant as, you know, display pieces, especially if I got around to giving them a decent paint job. But there was one that I always wanted. There was two reasons why I didn't ask for it or buy it. One, it was a larger kit, and so it was kind of out of the pocket money benchmark. But also I had a very strange idea when it came to robots, and that they should all have hands. Don't know why, it was just a thing. If the robot didn't have hands, then I would pass by that kit. So ones like archers and riflemen and things like that, you know, what are now sort of battle titans, that sort of thing, with the big guns in place of arms, I would pass those by and go for something like a Valkyrie that, you know, still had hands, and the you know, it would actually pick up oversized weapons. And I guess that's still a little bit of a preference, but it was definitely something that very much shaped my choices in the kind of kit that I would buy and get. but there was one, and the main reason why I didn't ask for it was because it had gun arms, and I have not seen it anywhere in modern times. But I was last year browsing through one of the online stores looking for presents for the kids, and yeah, model kits and Warhammer stuff and things like that still do go okay for some of them, and this one came up and it was like, I've got to have it. That one's mine. That's my Christmas present to myself. And so I ordered it. Just bosh, take my money. What I didn't realise was that it was a pre-order, and I'd kind of forgotten about it. And the last time I checked, it would have been just kind of last month. I checked to make sure that, you know, the order hadn't dropped off the system. It was still coming, and the expected date for shipment had actually pushed out to September, and it was like, oh, okay, but it's still coming. Well, lo and behold, while I was away, it arrived. Battletech players will know it better as the Marauder. In fact, that was what, you know, when I saw it in the model shop, it was Marauder that was all over the top of it. But I finally have one, so that is something that I am going to take some time out and enjoy and make up for myself. I don't think I'm going to do this one on camera. Maybe I will. But many years I have wanted one of these, and I finally got one. So that is one that is on the list. The good thing about the fact that the work trips are now over, it does mean that I can get back to some semblance of normality. I'm not having to worry about the fact that I'm going away. I'm not actually having to take time away from the house, and it does mean that I will be able to hopefully get into a little bit more of a regular schedule of uploading stuff and actually just doing some crafting and projects and things like that, because I've got a load which are half finished, half filmed, and I've just got to get them out of the way, half edited. So hopefully I'm now going to have the opportunity to do that, and that is going to be absolutely brilliant. So I'll stop waffling on and let's go have a look at what's been doing on the crafting table. As you can see from the fact that they're not complete, the game against Kate never happened, but I'm going to get a crack on with these forces now. Flesh needs to be put on all of the troops, but I am also going to take the opportunity to get some more done on these Masters and Missy. I'll retouch up that hair with black. And because I wasn't too happy with the flesh tones when I did these with speed paints, I'm just going to use the standard game colour on these ones. I'm a wee bit happier knowing what goes on with this paint. Alright, I'll crack on with these. Now we'll get some flesh wash on this. Everybody apart from Missy, because she has far paler skin than everybody else. But let's get these cranked out and then they can have a bit of a dry while they do something else. Right, so we've had a decent chance to dry that flesh off, but what I'm going to do is apply just a couple of bits of sort of overbrush of metal on the gun areas, just to sort of pick that stuff out, just in case I do manage to go onto the finger areas, because then at least I'll be able to pick that up when I do sort of like the top coat of the flesh. And just to finish these weapons off, let's get a wee bit of brown just on sort of like the stocks and the hand grip, just to get that sort of finished off. Yeah, I'm quite happy the way that these are looking. Even though it's the same armour type, it's quite a bit of difference between the two sets. Alright, we're not doing too badly. Last couple of little bits that I need to do is get the highlights on the flesh, which I'm just about to do. That dial, not sure what that dial's for, possibly warp something or other, needs to be done in a couple of cases just around the helmet. I've kind of gone over a little bit or missed it, so I'll just do tidy ups on that, and then I've got to get the bases done so that they fit in with the same style of that. But that is them almost done, but I'm not going to show all of that on camera because I am pretty much done with filming. So let's just get those highlights in, and the base itself is going to take a little bit to dry, so I'll show you these tomorrow and we'll wind it up there. Another thing that did happen was that we had another game, and while it was fun, there was unfortunately a couple of casualties that were unexpected. Cave Troll lost its axe and a couple of trees managed to get bent, but that's okay because bit of super glue, they're all repaired. So not a bad little haul. Couple of character miniatures, the Anthony Ainley and the Roger Delgado Master, finally off the pile of shame, and of course there's that Conflict 47 Galahad squad. And of course, because we've got some miniatures completed, the scores on the scoreboards can go up. Now, I am not going to lie, since the start of this video and this outro, it's been over a fortnight. It's been one of those things where, again, real life got in the way and I just was not feeling it for painting or crafting or anything like that. Which means, unfortunately, yes, things are backing up. But, as I said towards the start of the video, hopefully now that things have started calming down a little bit, I can get on with getting, well, more regular vlogs up, more miniatures done. I've got some fair ideas on how to get me sort of like back into the groove of it, just with, you know, some of those little niggly projects, not complete ones from start to finish, just things that have been long outstanding and just need to be finished off. I'll crack on with getting some of those done. But otherwise, I will leave you good folk in peace because, well, apart from anything else, as of recording this outro, I have the England-Norway match to look forward to tomorrow. So that's going to be an early start. I will leave you good folk to your own devices. Toodle pip for now.